plant a tree in Katoomba. You know what? I promise you that'll happen. Have we got anything else in the comments, Lucy?
Apparently the disability answers in the census were also.
Now I've got my own issues about the census. I'm just gonna double check. Are we still? Hold on. Okay, there we go. We definitely have it. Want to be a tree? I'll do my.
Be a tree.
I will do my best to make this happen.
What about Nathan Waters' comment? Welcome to my funeral. I have hidden my private key somewhere in this room. What private key? What, your computer key? What sort of key?
This would probably be to his Bitcoin wallet, I'm guessing.
Oh.
Or some... That's very entertaining. And that's the other big thing as well. Bitcoin suffers from the same fate as Facebook. Devin said that furries use VR chat heavily. I'm not sure what that's in relation to. But definitely is worth reading out always.
Meow.
Yes.
How do you want to die? What
I'm not going to die. If I'm terminally ill, I'm going to take a chunk of uranium and I'm going to eat it. And then I'm going to be asked to be cremated. And when I do, a radioactive cloud is going to spew fucking toxins all the way across Sydney. And I'm going to take as many people down with me as I can. Because if I die, it's a failure. And everyone's going to get cancer for decades, right? And they're going to call it the curse of Meow.
You are a biochemical terrorist.
Yes. That's
Where are you getting this uranium from?
Don't ask any questions that might incriminate you, Lucy.
and so, what's that like? What are the reported deaths by uranium like? Like, what's that process going to be like?
It's not going to be very nice. For a start, it's metal that you're eating, so that's going to be pretty gross. It's going to weigh.
The diet that James Goronin would eat.
Did you hear that?
I did.
Beyond.
Oh, I'm sure we should repeat that. That's amazing. Shout out your queen. The queen. That's amazing. Uranium. So wait, hold on. Do you have to inject it, and then what? You're going to be buried, and then it's going to spread into the.
No, I'm going to get cremated, and then as it burns, it's going to shoot all these radioactive particles everywhere. James says he just joined. Thank you.
Welcome, James. Uranium ready.
For anyone just joining, James Goronin is on
A shit diet.
diet.
Well, it's an interesting diet. It's not a diet I would have. Is it a diet you would have, Lucy?
Unfortunately, I'm on pretty much the same one.
How many?
He's really enjoying it, and I'm not.
How many lambs spines have you eaten?
Look, I have had like the bone marrow, like it's actually like a Polish dish, like to eat like the bone jelly, but I don't know that it was lamb spines. What makes you think of that?
Because I think James has incorporated lamb spine into his diet somewhere. I don't know.
This is the strangest diet.
It is the strangest diet. Now, on the note of the census, I think we should ask everyone, do you eat sugar? Do you eat lamb spine? But there should be... One of the things that everyone seems to be saying have you eaten a whole spine? One of the things about the census is there's all these questions that aren't being asked. Where's the people's census? Like, I want to ask... Do you wear a COVID mask when engaging in casual sex? That's what I want to know.
Yes.
But there's all sorts of useful things in that we as a culture want to know about, right? Like.
Yeah. Look, I haven't seen it yet. So what? It covers religion. It covers. What sort of basics is it currently covering?
So let's have a think about what it is. So it's run by the Australian Bureau of Statistics, And normally what we do when we're doing statistics is we take a sample of the population. So we basically say, okay, can I pick 1,000 people that represent Australia? And from that, make infer things about Australia from those people. A good example of this, you can very, very accurately predict an election with 1,000 people. Like, almost guaranteed. But you have to pick the right 1,000 people.
Hold on, sorry, your sound is a little bit funny. Could you say that again?
Yep. You have to pick the right 1,000 people for it to be accurate. Now, the other option is you have something called a census. And a census is where we poll everyone. So the government does this every so many years, 3 to 5 years, something like this. And when they do, they ask a series of questions that the government broadly is interested in. What level of education do you have? Where do you live? But they'll do things like take away the names, so it's anonymized, right? But the last time they did it, they allowed you to put your name on if you wanted to, I think. Now, from an archaeological perspective, this is really interesting, because imagine if you could go back, say, 200 years, and then you could just look at this census information with the names and learn all this. Like, imagine being able to look at, your ancestors and find out all this information. Like,
I'm pretty sure I put my name on it.
Yeah.
I love the census.
Do you?
I love the census.
Why do you love it?
I just really enjoy filling out forms. And the thing is, the government already knows these things about me. So it's not like they're really, discovering anything new.
I hate the census, and I don't want to give them any fucking information.
I'll fill it out for you.
Now, the reason...
Do you have a MyGov account?
I have one, but I don't have the health connected to it.
Same.
But I'm actually... Lockdown has made me go a bit crazy. Like,
Crazy? What?
Like, I've started becoming how do I say it? Okay, with hackers, and I would consider myself a hacker, there's always this risk that, you look at what is actually happening with respect to, monitoring and government surveillance, and you can kind of go a bit funny and just be like, I want fucking privacy and lock everything down. And I read something the other day which fucking freaked me out. And it potentially has to do with the census. So we're going to give the government, we basically get mailed out paper forms and then we fill them out, right? But we don't have to put our name at the top. The thing is, recently it was found out that certain printers actually put secret little dots on your printing, everything that's printed. The serial number of the printer, the date, day, and time, and it does it in an invisible way that you can only see with black light. Blue light. And there was some people talking about the census, saying, well, what if they've got this on the census, so they have all this information about you, and just removing your name doesn't matter because they know where you live and they've sent you out the forms. So one of the things suggested to people who are privacy